In that vibrant and bustling city of London, back in 1898, we meet our character, Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, an Anglo-British military engineer with stories to tell, who suddenly finds himself face to face with Robert Beaumont. Yes, that Beaumont, the one with deep pockets who's funding the massive railway project in Tsavo, Kenya. Beaumont, with eyes gleaming with ambition and a hint of good-natured madness, wastes no time. He wants Patterson to sign up for the most daring railway project in Africa. And it's not just about the money, there's something more. Beaumont has a goal that touches the heart. He wants to eradicate slavery from the continent. There it is. And Patterson, with the gaze of someone who has seen much yet is still surprised, doesn't hesitate. He's always wanted to leave his mark on Africa, and well, what better opportunity than this? Let's switch scenes now to Victoria Station. There, amidst the noise of steam and the murmur of the crowd, we see Patterson and his wife, Elena. They walk hand in hand, moving with purpose, full of expectations, toward the train that will open the doors to the exotic African continent. Amidst the hustle of the station, they pause for a moment. Patterson, with eyes full of promise, whispers something into Elena's ear, and it's not hard to guess. He assures her with a voice trembling with excitement that he will finish that railway bridge and be back in London in time for the birth of their baby in 6 months. Ah, love and adventure, what a powerful combination, right? But let's move on. Once in African lands, with its warm climate and breathtaking landscapes, Patterson meets Angus Starling. Angus, a British guy whose skin is already tanned by the African sun, acts as a supervisor there. The two of them, as if they've been friends for life, board a train heading toward Tsavo. And don't think they chose just any seat. No, they took a special one, right at the front of the locomotive, like two excited kids on a roller coaster. As the African landscape zooms by, it's Patterson who showcases his knowledge of the local fauna and flora. Picture Starling's surprised face, realizing that even after a year in Africa, there's so much he can learn from Patterson. Make yourself comfortable, because as soon as Patterson sets foot in Tsavo, he meets Samuel. Yes, that's Samuel, the Kenyan foreman who has the trust of all the workers there. It's clear he's important. Everyone looks at him with respect. As they head to the site of the railway bridge, with African dust rising in their wake and the sun blazing down, Samuel, in a serious tone and with a grave look, shares the tensions among the workers with Patterson. And believe it or not, he describes Tsavo, without exaggeration, as the worst place in the world. One can't help but wonder, what mess has Patterson gotten himself into? But wait, there's more. The atmosphere grows thick, and the suspense rises when our protagonist Patterson encounters Dr. David Hawthorne. He finds him in a tent that, although simple, serves as a hospital near the camp. There stands Hawthorne, his white coat contrasting with the rustic surroundings. While everything seemed calm, suddenly, boom, a 180-degree twist in the story. Imagine Patterson's face when Dr. Hawthorne, his voice trembling and eyes filled with concern, tells him about a recent lion attack. Yes, a lion, that majestic king of the jungle, was interrupting construction. But our dear Patterson, with the determination only heroes have and a promise as solid as a rock, assures everyone that that very night, yes, that very night, he will hunt the lion. Night falls in Tsavo, and the atmosphere is tense. Imagine the scene. Patterson and Hawthorne perched up in a tree, shadows dancing around, and a poor donkey below, waiting to be the perfect bait. Your heart races because you know something big could happen at any moment. And when the clock is about to strike midnight, when the darkness seems to deepen, the silence is broken by a stealthy approach. There it is. The lion appears, majestic and terrifying, but Patterson, with a precision and swiftness that leaves everyone speechless, fires a perfect shot, taking down the threat in one single act. Imagine the relief, the jubilation throughout the camp the next day when they hear that the lion is dead. Patterson becomes the hero of the moment. The workers, with tears in their eyes and smiles on their faces, see him as someone who's willing to risk everything for them. Now that things seem to be going so well, with the sun shining a little brighter over Tsavo, Patterson, with his strong and determined character, hands over the reins to Starling and Marina. Yes, Marina, the construction forewoman with calloused hands and eyes full of stories. Between them, there is a kind of magic, a respect, a connection that only a few understand. And here comes one of those stories that gives you chills. Imagine Magina, a man with dark skin and defined muscles, telling how he defeated a lion with his bare hands. Incredible, right? But, as often happens in these stories, just when you least expect it, tragedy strikes again. Oh, my friend, the anguish is real. One morning that seemed like any other, the camp wakes up to the horror of discovering that Magina has been attacked. Not just attacked, but dragged from his tent in the middle of the night by that lion and brutally killed. The scene is devastating, and seeing the mutilated body of this brave man leaves a sense of fear and pain in the air. Hawthorne, with that analytical look and a voice full of doubts, poses a chilling question. Was it really a lion? Because according to him, lions don't behave that way. They don't devour like that. What mystery lies behind all this? When you think nothing else could surprise you, life shows another side. Patterson, that brave leader with the heart of a lion, tries once again with a night hunt, but the night is elusive, and his attempts are frustrated. The silence of the African darkness seems to mock him, and the whispers of the wind carry nothing but disappointment, and as if fear were a growing shadow, the camp is now a hotbed of terror. Imagine the feeling of the place when Abdullah, his eyes marked with worry, and leader of the workers, joins the collective voice, standing firm to say that they can no longer work. The fear of those lions, who seem more like specters than animals, paralyzes their hearts. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse, Starling, in a trembling voice, brings news that chills the blood. Another worker, another friend, another brother, has been found dead at the opposite end of the camp. Patterson's strategy is ingenious. He decides to erect fences of thorn bushes, as tall and sturdy as castle walls, surrounding every single tent in the camp. Picture a natural barrier that, just by looking at it, would deter any beast from approaching. Under the blazing African sun, the workers, wearing clothes worn out by time, devote themselves to the task, their hardened hands building these formidable barricades with determination. Life seemed to be returning to its rhythm. The camp transforms into a hub of activity, with laughter and conversations under the golden daylight. In a quiet corner, beneath the comforting shade of a tree, Patterson, with a nostalgic smile, runs his fingers over an envelope containing a letter from his beloved wife. But, my friend, the calm is deceptive. Without anyone noticing, the golden coat of a lion blends in with the ochre tones of the ground, approaching Patterson with silent and deadly grace. Tragedy strikes like a storm that bursts without warning. Another fierce lion storms the camp, sowing chaos and taking lives in its ferocious charge. The heart-wrenching screams pull Patterson out of his reverie. Grasping his rifle firmly, his heart beating like war drums, he rushes toward the scene of horror. Along with Starling and Samuel, they corner the feline monster, which is greedily devouring one of the bodies. But oh, nature has its surprises. From above, like a lightning strike, another lion descends upon them, spilling Starling's blood and leaving Patterson's arm dripping scarlet. Despite his pain and rage, Patterson tries to shoot them, but these cunning predators vanish into the shadows of the night. The ensuing silence is deafening as the dust settles. The camp mourns the loss of Starling, a hero who fell before the untamable force of the wild. The day after the tragedy that shook everyone in the camp, I can tell you the sun didn't shine quite the same at dawn. As the sky showed a melancholic orange hue, desolation could be felt in the air. Patterson pleaded with Abdullah to inspire the workers to stay, to face the challenge and continue with the construction. But the terror sown by the lions ran too deep. The workers' hearts longed for the safety of their homes, far from the jaws of those cunning predators. However, fate had another twist in store. Yes, my friend, just when you thought all was lost, Beaumont arrives. Observing the bridge, his eyebrows knit in disapproval, and with words sharp as blades, he warns Patterson about the consequences of not finishing the project. Patterson, without losing his composure, recounts the terrifying tale of the killer lions and tremulously asks for reinforcements from England to protect the camp. But Beaumont, with a coldness that rivals ice, denies his request. In that tense atmosphere, Beaumont, with a spark of curiosity in his eyes, asks about Starling. The silence that follows is the deepest and most painful. Upon learning of his tragic fate, Beaumont's expression changes, revealing a crack in his armor. He demands to know Patterson's plan to stop this threat. Patterson, with renewed determination, shows him the trap, an ingenious design meant to catch and kill the lion. But Beaumont, ever skeptical, remains unimpressed. He declares that he will contact the famous hunter Charles Remington, whose tales of bravery are known throughout the continent. As night falls and the vast sky is covered by a dark mantle, Patterson sits under the dim light of a lamp, writing heartfelt words to his beloved wife, Elena. At dawn, the camp comes to life. Amid the hustle and bustle, Patterson can be seen teaching hunting techniques to a group of workers. But these aren't just ordinary workers. No, my friend, these men have dark pasts, filled with questionable actions. They are killers and criminals. Enticed by the promise of a reward, Patterson instructs them to spend the night in the trap, eagerly waiting for the lion, thirsty for revenge. Armed to the teeth, they sit behind the bars of the trap. Every creak, every whisper of the wind heightens the tension. And then, out of nowhere, the lion's roar echoes through the silence. The trap works. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, please show it by giving it a valuable like. It only takes you a second, but it helps me a lot. But the majestic lion, trapped and furious, displays all its magnificence and power. Faced with this spectacle, the workers, overcome with panic, fire desperately, but their trembling hands miss. In the blink of an eye, with a skin-crawling roar, the lion manages to break free. With the first rays of the sun, the camp awakens to the echo of failure. Patterson, his face flushed and eyes blazing, confronts the workers, reproaching them for their ineptitude. The tension is palpable, and amid this chaos, Abdullah, the unmistakable leader, raises his voice and curses Patterson. His words, heavy with resentment and mysticism, declare that evil has made Savo its home. But surprise, surprise, Remington arrives in Savo with his hair blowing in the wind, eyes fixed ahead, riding a horse, and accompanied by a Maasai tribe. Those warriors with weathered skin and spears in hand, the very ones who, with an almost mystical respect, have named these fearsome lions as Ghost and Darkness. During a walk with the setting sun in the background, Remington points to the hospital tent, suggesting a change. He says that the smell of meat and blood is like perfume to those hungry lions. That night, under a starry sky and with a cool breeze, Patterson, Samuel, and Remington, like three ancient battle strategists, devise a master plan. Admiration shines in Remington's eyes when he sees Patterson's steady hand while holding the gun, leading him to invite Patterson to the dawn hunt. However, something special happens that night. By the light of a flickering campfire, the Maasai warriors, with their songs and dances, invoke the spirits and perform rituals. And though dawn brings hopes of success, the following day's hunt brings despair. The weapon that was supposed to be powerful betrays Patterson by not firing. The Maasai, feeling the disappointment and fearing the beast's wrath, choose to withdraw. Remington, however, that man of steel, decides to face the challenge and stay alert in the camp. The situation is tense. They've moved the wounded and sick to this new tent they set up as a hospital. You know, now Remington and Patterson, these two guys, have a crazy idea. They decide to turn the old tent into a sort of lion trap, putting animal parts and blood inside. And you believe it? They thought the lions would fall for it, and for a moment, it seems like they do. They try to finish them off with some shots, but oh buddy, the lions, smarter than expected, escape. And worse, they make their way into the hospital tent, leaving a trail of death in their wake. Poor Dr. Hathorne had no luck that day, and at dawn, there's a desolate scene. Abdullah and his workers board a train and leave the camp. Imagine the scene. Patterson, Remington, and Samuel are left there, like saying, "Now what do we do?" After a while, the first two are near the bridge they're building. Remington, with an eagle's eye, spots fresh lion tracks leading up the mountain. They decide to follow the tracks, and what they find is hair-raising. The lion's den, filled with the bones of countless victims. Remington drops a bombshell. The lions don't kill just to eat. They kill for fun, I tell you. And as the drama continues, that night Patterson uses his ingenuity to come up with another plan to trap the lions, building something like a hunting post. Samuel, the kind-hearted man, shows up with a baboon to use as bait. Imagine the tension. In a gesture of camaraderie, Remington hands Patterson his pistol, as if saying, "Brother, take care." And Patterson, full of nerves, tests his hunting post. Picture the nighttime scene. Remington and Samuel are there, well camouflaged in a tree. Patterson is in that hunting post, taking risks, with a poor baboon tied up, waiting to be the lion's main course. Such tension, my friend. And here comes the lion, so stealthy. It heads straight for the baboon, and bam! The baboon is gone. But Patterson, in his attempt to shoot the lion, crash! He falls from the post, adrenaline pumping. The lion, eyes gleaming, leaps at him, but Patterson, like a true movie hero, draws his pistol, and bam! Wounds the lion. Later, the jungle becomes a labyrinth of terror. Patterson and Remington search for the wounded lion, and suddenly this feline leaps at Patterson as if it were a deadly game. But Remington, with astonishing reflexes, takes down the lion before it can harm Patterson. After this, imagine the three: Patterson, Remington, and Samuel, toasting, celebrating. What a relief. But here's a surprise. At dawn, Elena Patterson arrives with her baby, and it seems like life is smiling again. But wait, there's a twist. Imagine Patterson watching as one of the lions charges at Elena and the baby. Oh no. But what a relief, my friend. It turns out it was all a nightmare. Though, well, reality isn't much better. Remington, that brave soul, ends up being dinner for the remaining lion. Imagine Patterson and Samuel in the middle of the jungle, cremating their fallen comrade and planning their revenge. Patterson, with courage and determination, faces the lion, and to ensure Samuel's safety, sends him away. There he is, mano a mano with the beast. Let's set the scene. Imagine yourself there, on that half-built bridge, and suddenly, you hear the lion's roar. Oh, the tension. Patterson finds himself running with the lion hot on his heels. Such speed, my friend. Patterson, heart racing, decides to climb a tree, but surprise, the lion knows how to climb too. And here's Samuel, trying to save the day, throwing a rifle from another tree. But oh no, he misses. The rifle falls, creating a dull echo. Patterson, in a moment of pure bravery, leaps and, with 2 precise shots, takes down the beast. What a moment, brother. The movie gives us a memorable final scene. Nigel Bransford, the new replacement for Angus Starling, arrives with the breeze and greets Patterson with, "Patterson, the lion killer." You can feel the respect in the air. And back at camp, calm follows the storm. Abdullah and the workers return, and finally, the real Elena Patterson and her son arrive in Savo, safe and sound. Such happiness. Imagine Patterson seeing his wife and son, eyes filled with tears. And as the finishing touch, the bridge, the masterpiece,